Alrighty then. Successful Indie Author 5-Minute Focus, episode 1023, Amazon categories. I went all through the previous 1022 episodes, and I haven't really addressed this. So I'm sorry about that. I do have it in a long form in the Indie Publishing 101. I believe it was in session 2, maybe session 3. I don't know which, but I talked about it there extensively. But here, let's talk about it. But at first, make sure you click that like button. Make sure you click the subscribe button. Subscribe. That helps plus our numbers up, makes us look good to YouTube, and then they share it. I don't have to pay anything to advertise this channel. So yes, even though this is low production quality, because I just do it live, I don't edit anything, it's still the information matters, and that's what we're looking for here. Okay, Amazon categories. You get to pick three that apply. They accept them without question when you first do the three, unless you try to pick young adult and adult categories in the same time, then they're going to bar you. You have to pick, if you go with young adult, you have to pick all young adult, all three. Or if you go with adult, you have to pick all three as adult categories. So you get to pick three. Then you go down age. If you pick young adult, you have to then make the age for young adult. You can't go 18 plus, but then pick young adult categories. That doesn't work. So this is where you'll have issues. You may get through it and click upload, and all of a sudden, 3 days later, Amazon comes back and says, you can't do this. You have to fix it. So get it right at the outset so you don't have to do that. So your book goes live in a couple hours and life is good. Now, once your book goes live, you've got those categories you're watching. You don't have any sales, so you don't have any kind of rankings yet. And then you start getting a few sales, and all of a sudden, the categories change. One might be what you selected, but the other two absolutely are not. Are they applicable? And this is where Amazon algorithms will look at it, look at the buyer behavior, and how does that marry up with other things they've bought compared to genre. So on your story, Amazon's algorithms say this is a more appropriate genre because that's where other readers who have bought this book are buying books. So if it matches that way, maybe they're a better pick than yours. They could be way off base. I once had a category that my post-apoc said alien contact. Well, this was a survival story that had zero aliens, no zombies. It was just a post-apocalyptic. So I did contact them, and they did change it back. They did change it. So you can always contact them and ask, but they may not change it because this is now the system is getting more and more automated. So you might have to just live with the consequences of what Amazon says. People who are buying this genre are buying your book too. So you need to be in this genre. And you can only rank in three. You can go to BK link, that's bklnk.exe. Go to that, or bklnk.com. Go there, pull it up. They've got a where is your book ranking, and you can see which categories your book are in. It's probably in the ones that you originally had, but then it'll be in the ones that Amazon thinks it belongs. And it'll be ranking, but you only get to rank in three categories. The reason Amazon did this was because some traditional publishers, the big one was Harry Potter, which was number one in like 10 or 20 different categories. So it blocked out everybody else. Now, even that one can only be in three. So those three. And then they get ranked. And the other ones, you might see them in that category, but they're not ranking. So you have to go with what Amazon gives you. If you don't like it, if you said, no, this absolutely is a poor match, I'm going to get bad reviews because this isn't the right category, contact them. And that's the best you can do is ask them, please, can you change this? Because this is absolutely the wrong category. And Amazon's algorithms will look at your blurb, they'll look at the categories you selected, they'll look at the title, and then they'll look at buyer behavior. And all of those things together might put it into a different category. You have to do your best. And sometimes there's cross-genre where people who read this, you think, that's not what my book is about. But that's where people are reading that also like your book. So is it a bad thing to get a cross-genre link up? That answer might be yes. So, or yes, that it is a bad thing, or no, it isn't. I say let it slide or let it ride, and you watch those categories and see, how are my sales? How are my reviews? if all of a sudden you're getting a bunch of 1-stars because, oh, this is garbage, this isn't, as you wrote, hockey, this isn't hockey romance, but it's in that category, then you got to contact Amazon and say, hey, see, this shows these aren't the right readers. They're slamming my book and I don't want that. And then they could possibly change it back. I've had customer service say, no, it's automated. We can't do anything. But then we've heard from other people who have been able to get categories changed. So there you are. Once Amazon system changes, you might be stuck. You might not. You can always contact them and ask. It never hurts to ask. Sometimes you don't have to lay down and take it. Sometimes you can ask, and maybe they will change it and say, yes, this is a bad fit for your book. Do your best you can. Pick the categories that matter. Don't stretch it. Don't pick a nonfiction category that has like 6 books so you can get your number one. That's another thing that Amazon wants to prevent you from doing, is just picking a tiny category and, hey, dominating. But it doesn't matter. It doesn't help you sell more books. But you were number one there. You know what number one is? Number one is when you get a nice big paycheck because you're selling more books. So trust that the algorithm is going to find your readers for you based on blurb, genres the categories that you picked, title, and then buyer behavior. So trust in some of that and see where it takes you. Peace, fellow humans.